Diddy really screwed up, and I'm not referring to his criminal trial, which has him sitting in prison right now, but it has to do with something that happened right before he got arrested. If you've seen the Netflix documentary about Diddy, Diddy The Reckoning, which 50 Cent produced, there's some footage there that had never been seen before. This is a photographer that Diddy hired to follow him around and document his life. That footage ended up going to 50 Cent.
And maybe that's what Snoop went through. I don't know. But let the people know, because it was too early back then. You know, Pac just had died.
So this one night, 50 called me up, and you know they got him on the phone. Man, he was just talking. We was talking about old time shit. You know, sit down with Black Hands, sit down with with Puff Kids, the whole Puff situation, and this documentary that he's going to be doing.
However, almost as soon as the documentary gained attention, a fresh wave of online discussions and viral clips began redirecting public focus. This time, the person whose name was being linked to the controversy was Snoop Dogg. Social media posts and attention-grabbing headlines quickly appeared, claiming that Snoop was nervous, staying out of sight, or even being shielded because of alleged footage that never made it into the final documentary. At the same time, several commentators echoed claims reportedly raised by Gene Deal, while debating what 50 Cent's documentary chose to include and what it left out. They also pointed to Snoop Dogg's public reactions and statements regarding the growing speculation. Most importantly, though, we'll separate rumor from reality and focus strictly on what has actually been verified.
Check out this audio from Suge Knight. It's from his podcast with Dave Mays, and he's speaking on, you know, Tupac and Snoop being cool, and how, you know, after Tupac got killed, Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, you know, he also speaks on how, you know, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, a whole bit that, you know, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa, wait a minute, fellas here, hold on. You know, I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my people.
Real, that's what we came in for. We came in to light it up and ride it up. We never used to hair. Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the motherfucker that everybody say got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay, you know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now, he might go by the opinion that, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac, you know, we grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this individual. You know what I mean? Even if you don't agree with him, you probably could have said, you know what, I probably ain't gonna come out, you know, publicly with this because until things clear up, so I really know I could be certain that, you know, they didn't have nothing to do with Pac. But it's like, it was no, you know, okay, it is what it is. So that I never really respected that back then.
So you had an issue with it, you didn't like it?
Never really liked it. It just was a strange look because you was Pac boy. You know what I mean? Puffy and them, it's clear they had some issues with Pac. And Pac died and all of a sudden you chilling with Puffy. Back then it just, okay, now you can say what you want. You go all grandfathers, I guess. You know what I mean? That's different now. But back then I think it was weird, it was tasteless. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like you really had that much love for Pac. You could have just, you know what I mean? Unless he pressured them or like questioned Puffy, like, yo, what's up with this? What's up with that? Then you could say, you know what I mean? No problem.
Snoop Dogg's name was never mentioned in court documents, indictments, or the federal case that led to Diddy's imprisonment. However, that didn't stop social media from connecting him to various rumors and allegations. Much of the speculation comes from Snoop's long history in the music industry. Over the years, he has worked alongside major figures like Diddy and Suge Knight, making him a familiar name whenever discussions about hip-hop's past controversies arise. After the release of a recent documentary, Gene Deal, a former associate of Diddy, suggested in interviews that not everything made it into the final version. Those comments quickly sparked online theories, with many creators claiming there could be more information that hasn't been revealed. As the rumors spread, old videos and past interviews began resurfacing across social media. Because of Snoop's connections to both East Coast and West Coast hip-hop culture, many online users started including him in the conversation, even though no official evidence has linked him to the case.
I believe somebody mentioned that they seen a video with me and the dude Prodigy, or one of the dudes from our Deep, as if I was with. They don't know the backdrop of that. I went to his hotel room ready to fight. Like, bro, I'll fight everybody in that room one-on-one. Even if I lose, it doesn't matter. The Outlaws was with me. My homie Tiny, the Mexican homie, was with me. I didn't go there and say, let me get in a video with these guys. I went there knocking on their door, doom, doom, doom. Tell them dudes to come out. What's up with y'all? What's up with you and Pop? You got a problem with Pop? Because we could just fight like man to man, face to face, and then shake hands. That was my approach with them. But when they told me they didn't have no problem, I don't mind being with you. You know what I mean? I don't mind shaking your hand because they told me they had love for Pop. So that's different. You know what I mean? If he come out and say, well, I already, I questioned Puffy about it. I believe that he didn't, he loved Pop. That's my opinion. I can move the way I want to move. So when people try to, I noticed somebody, I think on your page do that. Well, Napoleon was in the video with Mobb Deep. They don't know how I got in that video with Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? I pulled up on him but I'm the type of person, I've never been a bully type of person. You know what I mean? If I talk to a person like a man and they tell me face to face, look, I got love for Pop, I'm comfortable to know if I can look in their eyes, if I believe what they said, I have the right to say, okay, no problem, I believe you. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what Snoop went through. I don't know. But let the people know, because it was too early back then. Pop just had died. You know what I mean? Like, he had the right to say, the reason why I'm rolling with Puffy, I questioned him about my homie. He gave me this answer. So then he did what he had to do, but it just, you know what I mean? I never really agree with that, to be honest. The same way I couldn't be on the stage with him. When they wanted to do that tribute, I just couldn't do it. Like, I really felt in my heart, like, man, I can't believe.
This is where things get complicated. When assumptions replace evidence, discussions can quickly move from facts to speculation. In such cases, the most repeated claims are not always the most accurate. The documentary was not presented as an investigation of the entire entertainment industry. Its main focus was Diddy, his rise through Bad Boy Records, his influence in music, and the people and systems around him. It also explored allegations, victim accounts, and claims of control and exploitation. However, the documentary did not accuse Snoop Dogg of any criminal activity or show evidence linking him to wrongdoing. Claims that 50 Cent intentionally left Snoop out remain online theories rather than verified facts. Curtis Jackson has stated that the material included was reviewed and supported by information that could be verified. As a result, much of the speculation about Snoop comes from internet discussions rather than documented evidence. Rumors spread quickly, but confirmed facts often take longer to surface.
Diddy was doing a documentary thinking he was going to come out triumphant.
Yeah, I didn't know that's how this started, is he started filming himself and getting this footage because he thought he was going to beat everything. Okay,
Diddy
that makes sense. Okay.
Has a relationship
with Netflix. I knew that.
With
Ted Sarandis. I saw that. Yes. Okay.
And he's filming it there. But of course, when you get, obviously it wasn't a clean sweep on the prosecutor's side, but you're still going to prison.
Yeah.
He basically kind of scraps it. It's not also Netflix is saying, because they commissioned it, right? Netflix is saying, all right, cool, just turn over what you got, and what we'll do, we'll make it what it is, because we're just following reality. Diddy's like, well, hold on now. If I lost the case, I'm down to still do it with you, but I got to be able to control it. Now, Diddy was probably going to kind of shape this doc to make it look like, hey, this was malicious prosecution. They kind of went really hard at me. Mm-hmm. I'm not a perfect guy, but I am a good guy.
Yeah.
And Diddy was like, I need to be able to craft it. And Netflix was like, no, you're not. And he's like,
well, my question is, did he sign the footage over to Netflix so they own it? Like, how were they able to do this without his?
No, but he didn't pay for it. So essentially, they're calling it a payment error. So essentially, the deal falls apart, or he's like, yeah, we're not going to do this.
So awkward.
And the people who did the work that have all this footage, they're like, so wait, you told us to film because this is going to be on Netflix. Now you're saying Netflix doesn't exist and we're not getting paid because Diddy was going to pay with Netflix money. And Netflix realized this and they went to the filmers and said, hey, give us the footage.
If anything, the documentary appeared to take a cautious approach. In an era where headlines often rely on controversy and sensational claims, the project largely avoided naming individuals unless there was supporting information, records, or testimony that could be carefully examined. That is one reason why the stories about alleged hidden footage remain unverified. Despite the widespread discussion online, no confirmed clips have been presented to support those claims. Likewise, no court filings mention Snoop Dogg, and no law enforcement agency has publicly identified him as a suspect or person of interest in connection with the case. Another detail that often gets overlooked is Snoop's public response following the documentary's release. Rather than distancing himself from 50 Cent, he appeared supportive and shared messages that suggested there was no disagreement between them. Those public interactions do not align with the narrative that Snoop was worried about what the documentary might reveal. While online speculation continues to generate attention, the publicly available information tells a different story. At this point, the claims about secret footage and hidden revelations remain theories, while the documented facts continue to show no verified connection between Snoop and the allegations being discussed.
We're going to look at this through the prism of a modern-day rhetorical genius. A modern-day rhetorical genius. We're talking about the one, the great, the 50 Cent. All right. This guy's skill at rhetoric is absolutely next level. And this totally ties in with, you know, how he famously is a big fan of Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Now, rhetoric with a capital R, I can just give you the definition of that. That's basically public speech, particularly public speech that is to persuade. Any persuasive public speech is rhetoric, right? Now, we kind of break that down into two subcategories of rhetoric with a lowercase r and dialectic. Rhetoric is essentially everything else, and really what moves the needle with like 97% of people and 100% of groups, okay, is in fact rhetoric with the lowercase r. So again, stuff like this, 50 Cent is an absolute master of. Basically, you know, he dropped this doc, this 50, this Sean Puffy Combs doc, and it's just kind of set the internet on fire. It's beating out Stranger Things. Like, it's a wild ride to watch, right? And one of the things that he does is he breaks down Diddy's character on Diddy's own terms.
One of the most repeated online claims involves Courtney Burgess, who said he possessed flash drives allegedly connected to Kim Porter. He claimed the drives contained photos and videos involving celebrities in sensitive situations. As these allegations spread online, many creators added their own theories, and Snoop Dogg's name was often mentioned despite no confirmed evidence. However, an important detail is often ignored. Kim Porter's family publicly rejected claims about alleged memoirs and related materials connected to her. Authorities have also never publicly verified the contents of the flash drives Burgess described. In investigations, appearing in alleged material does not automatically make someone a suspect. Individuals may instead be treated as witnesses or potential victims until facts are confirmed. So far, no verified documents have linked Snoop Dogg to these claims, and no confirmed footage involving him has been released. Still, online speculation often turns rumors into assumptions, leading many people to treat unproven claims as facts. It is also important to remember that discussing or possessing unverified material is not proof of criminal activity. Legal cases require evidence, authentication, and credible testimony. Online discussions often operate without those standards. For that reason, claims that Snoop Dogg is worried or panicking because of these flash drives remain unsupported by verified evidence. There have been no public reports that he has been questioned, investigated, or legally linked to these allegations.
Because he wanted them both Suge and Pac.
In the car?
They only Pac, and they don't Suge. So allegedly, they got paid $500,000. The $500,000 was paid to the guy on the right, all the way to the right. You see the guy on the right, Corey? He's the one allegedly that got the $500,000, and that money never went to Keefe D or anybody else. The guy on the left is the one that stole the chain, the chain, which was a Death Row Records chain. That's a way of saying I got your rapper's chain, because if you were one of the guys, Death Row. So long story short, this whole thing isn't recording that he said this. So what does Diddy do? Rob, can you pull up this song? It's a song called Black Rob, featuring Mark Curry and Mario Winans. If you can just type in lyrics, okay? So he gets $1 million. Can you go to the lyrics? And Diddy's in the lyrics when he gets started. Go a little bit lower. Can you type in the word in there, Rob? Nice guy. Type Control F, nice guy. Okay, right there. Look at it's 1999. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Been nice too long. I'm just gonna start making y'all disappear. Man, first I'm gonna take your records off the radio. Then I'm gonna erase your social security number. Take your birth certificate out flies. I'm gonna do your whole effing family. Ain't nothing but mercy. And then, by the way, in the lyrics, he says, I'll drop $1 million on your head to erase you. Can you type in, I'll drop $1 million, just put Control F. Just go to Google and type this out. I'll drop $1 million on your head. I'll drop $1 million on your head, and just put Diddy next to it. Right there. See, it says Black Rob. What song came up?
Right.
I'll drop $1 million on your head. Erase you and your whole family, biatch.
Wow.
He's saying it in the song on what he did to get rid of Tupac.
What an idiot.
Suge Knight has repeatedly accused Snoop Dogg of betrayal, misconduct, and even having connections to events surrounding Tupac Shakur's death. These claims often gain attention online, especially when old interviews resurface, but they are not new allegations and have never been proven in court. Most of these accusations come from statements Knight has made while incarcerated. Although his comments attract media coverage because of his role in hip-hop history, they remain allegations rather than verified facts. Snoop Dogg has consistently denied all of Knight's claims, calling them false and driven by personal conflicts. Importantly, investigations into Tupac's murder have never led to charges against Snoop, and no official findings have publicly linked him to the crime.
For being out there and allowing Misa to come out there to make money, however she was doing it, to feed her family. He vowed down that it's like, yo, I ain't never f***ing with her again, and I ain't never f***ing with him again. Puff and Suge had a conversation behind the House of Blues about was we all right, and Tupac was alive. Tupac wasn't dead. So if it was a war, Suge ain't having no conversation with Puff about we good. I know he could be doing the Hoboken hustle, trying to fool a brother. But had he killed my man or something like that, I wouldn't have no conversation with Puff. I'd been like, yo, you know what y'all niggas done? You know what happened? And it wasn't no conversation like that, brother. It wasn't no conversation whereas that, Suge made Puff feel like I'm going to get you a payback for what happened to Jake. This was more so that Puff, for whatever reason, Suge, for whatever reason, he was mad at Puff. And Puff, for whatever reason he was mad at Suge, it was between them two. It wasn't no whole East Coast wanted the West Coast dead, and the West Coast wanted East Coast do that because they still was going out, still chilling, still at places with each other. It was Bad Boy and it was Death Row. It was no East Coast and no West Coast. West Coast dudes were still coming out on the East Coast getting love. East Coast niggas was still going out on the West Coast getting love. It was Bad Boy versus Death Row. And that's what it was, bro. And it was because of the two CEOs. But Suge tried to straighten it out. I got to get at the Suge. The Death Row East Coast, the Death Row East was going to bring in Eric B. It was going to bring in Big D. And those brothers was from the East Coast. So now, they was looking for a representative to come to the meeting from Bad Boy so they could straighten out the between Pac and Big and Death Row and Bad Boy. And Puff is the one who refused. Puff is the one to refuse to send a representative or either come himself. And got mad at Zip and them because they were in the Mirage on 57th Street partying with Suge Knight. Got mad at them. And Zip hung up the phone on behind that.
Why do these allegations keep resurfacing despite the lack of proof? One reason is that repeated claims can start to feel true, even when no evidence supports them. This is especially common on social media, where stories are constantly shared and reposted. As they spread, context is often lost and speculation can begin to look like fact. The history between Snoop Dogg and Suge Knight also plays a role. Their relationship fell apart years ago, and their disputes have been well documented. Because of that long-running feud, any accusations connected to it should be viewed carefully rather than accepted without question. Repeating an allegation does not make it more credible, it only makes it more visible. While these claims may continue to circulate online, popularity should not be mistaken for proof.
So, I don't know where you get all the extras from when they had a conversation at the hospital and all that. That's absolutely not true. Say less, if you know what I mean. But instead of just saying less, since I've been in here, Snoop and other people been having people trying to bail the guy out, Keefy D, because he talking too much. Raising him trying to do stuff for Puffy because they say he talking too much. They even had somebody talk to me and say, hey, you can help him get free. I said, look, I don't have nothing to do with none of that, and I'm not leaving prison to go to nobody county jail. To the point they were saying, well, you can't leave and sacrifice a little bit in the county jail to stop that black man from getting life. Hell no. I ain't wishing bad on him at all because I don't want to see nobody go to prison. And like I told you last time, as I find out more details about certain things, I probably would go to the Vegas County Jail if me and Keefy D with Sellies. We'll have a good conversation after I give him, 6 upside his head, another 6 in his body, and another 2. But yeah, that's different than happened with Snoop didn't go to the hospital. That's a lie.
Another claim circulating online was that Snoop Dogg went quiet after the documentary was released. However, his public activity during that period suggests otherwise. Snoop continued posting about music, business ventures, and entertainment projects on social media. He also remained active in industry conversations and interactions with other artists. The idea that he had disappeared was largely based on speculation rather than clear evidence. There were no public signs of panic, no reports that he stepped away from his career, and no indication that he was avoiding public attention. Instead, he continued focusing on his business interests, including Death Row Records and other ventures. While some viewed his response as silence, there was no actual disappearance. Rather than addressing every rumor, Snoop appeared to carry on with his normal schedule, leaving the claims unverified.
Just got out the gym, doing my workout box. Suge, you right. History would repeat itself. Cause nigga, you wasn't the only nigga in the room, nigga. You wasn't by yourself. It was other people in the room too. I'm not gonna say no names, cause like you said, we don't talk. So why you on here talking? Let that go, man. And as far as Snoop and Corrupt write my album, you ask them niggas that. Them niggas ain't wrote my album. Corrupt helped me with Do You See? Snoop helped me with This DJ. Other than that, everything else I wrote. So that's where you wrong at again. And as far as the tough guy, do you recall when we was at the World Club and then said Death Row and NWA? Who fired on that? Me. When you was at the Comedy Store, fighting that little buff ass at the Comedy Store, who saved your motherfucking ass? Me and C-Staff. So what have I done to you? For you to launch out at me? Look, don't get mad at me, man. I ain't never done nothing to you. I wasn't signed to you. So
the key difference between Snoop Dogg's situation and the case involving Diddy is evidence, not fame or influence. The legal actions against Diddy were based on investigations, witness statements, court proceedings, and evidence reviewed through the justice system. They did not arise solely from internet rumors. In contrast, many claims surrounding Snoop Dogg are largely based on associations, past relationships, and online speculation. Being connected to controversial figures is not the same as being accused of wrongdoing. At the time these discussions gained attention, there were no publicly known charges, indictments, or active criminal cases involving Snoop Dogg related to the allegations circulating online. While the absence of legal action does not prove innocence or guilt, it does mean rumors should not be treated as facts. The entertainment industry is facing increased scrutiny, but not everyone mentioned in online discussions is necessarily involved in criminal conduct. That is why evidence remains the most important standard. Without verifiable proof, allegations remain allegations, and it is important to distinguish between what is known and what is merely speculation.
In a documentary, there's a couple things I'll share with you guys on what I took away from it. But Rob, maybe share the clip on how he got access to some of the footage of the documentary. Is this the one, Rob?
Yep.
Go for it.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day.
Perhaps. Combs' team firing back in a statement to NBC News, saying the Netflix so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece and that they relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. His team sending a cease and desist to Netflix.
So that doesn't mean it's not true.
Of course.
But they relied on stolen footage, okay, is what they relied on. And then they ask about the history of 50 and him, issue that they've had. What's the one you just pulled up, Rob?
This is where they talk about the feud, and then I also have 50 Cent talking about Diddy's reaction to the documentary.
Yeah, that's so funny. That is so funny. But watch this one here. Go ahead, Rob.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right, for 20 years, right, is me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like it was like a tester, like maybe you'll come play with me type of thing, right? And it's not personal.
I think it's important to also let people know that the show is not completely the perspectives of people that did not like Sean. We weren't trying to just get the highlights, the salacious details, that the real goal was to storytell. And not everyone needed to have an allegation to be a part of this project.
Yeah, I mean, so that's that part, right? The fact that the feud with the two of them, hey, let me take you shopping. Like, you say that to a girl in 50s, like, what are you talking about? Take me shopping. How do you ever flip a mind? You want to take me shopping? And then last but not least, Rob, the other clip you have of 50 is talking about how he thinks Diddy's going to like this documentary. Go ahead, Rob.
Sean Combs watches this. What do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
She can't even hold it.
Because you'll see people saying that. I mean, he may feel a different way about pieces and bits of it, but he knows the truth. I think he'll see.
Right now, Snoop Dogg finds himself at the center of a situation that has become common online. A mystery appears, speculation follows, and soon assumptions begin to replace facts. Past associations are re-examined, and rumors are often treated as evidence. However, when the headlines and social media theories are set aside, the facts remain clear. There is no verified footage linking Snoop Dogg to the allegations being discussed, no criminal charges connected to his name, and no evidence that he has stepped away from public life. In many ways, the bigger story is about how quickly public narratives form when a major figure falls from power. In the digital age, association is often mistaken for involvement, even without proof. As discussions surrounding Diddy continue, the focus should remain on facts rather than assumptions. Speculation may generate attention, but it cannot replace evidence. Ultimately, the key question is whether verified information will matter more than rumors. That distinction is important because truth is established through facts, not repetition.